name is Laura Velasquez.
Hello, I'm Nicolas Grande.
Hi, I'm Simon Moreno.
Hi, I'm David Fernandez.
Hello, my name is Luis Enrique Pastrana, and we're Team 9130, bit by bit.
So first off, let me tell you a little bit about our client. Atlanta is a non-profit organization whose main goal is bettering communities in Atlanta and its surrounding areas by providing users in these communities volunteering opportunities and giving smaller non-profits in those areas a larger voice to be heard. In this instance, the problem we're trying to help them address is that of providing them with a platform through which these users will be able to more easily and accessibly find and register for volunteering opportunities around them in order to help Atlanta with their mission. Throughout the semester, our main point of contact has been Cameron Anderson, Atlanta's Director of Community Engagement. Whether it be through volunteering in the Red Cross or in the Metro Atlanta urban farms, Cam has always been trying to do a positive thing for the communities that he's in. Now, Laura will tell you a little bit about Cameron's vision and what we're trying to accomplish.
At the beginning of the semester, we met up with Cameron to have a better understanding of his vision. We mainly wanted to know more about his intended users so that we could keep that in mind when designing our research methodology. After talking to him, we understood mainly he thought college students, tech-savvy millennials, active volunteer participants, but also non-active volunteer participants were kind of what he had in mind. After all, the Planet Atlanta's mission is also to motivate this type of behavior by letting people explore sustainable practices and be more aware of volunteering opportunities. By finding out more about these two subgroups, meaning active volunteers and non-engaged volunteers, or people not engaged in volunteering, we decided to make two separate surveys. For the active volunteers, we wanted to know more about what were the struggles that they were facing right now when volunteering, and also knowing what areas of volunteering they were most interested in so that our app could definitely have those included. For the people that were not currently engaged in volunteering, we wanted to know what was holding them back from participating in such activities so that our app could really facilitate that type of behavior. Nicolas is now going to talk about the findings from our survey.
So in order to obtain results from these surveys, we distributed them among two communities. The first being the Georgia Tech community, where we know both active and non-active volunteers exist, and the second being the Planet Atlanta community, where active volunteers that have worked with Cameron in the past exist. Now let's take a look at some of the results from these surveys. So the first chart reads, would you volunteer more if you could consistently do so with a friend? And as you can see, the results are overwhelmingly positive. Almost 82% of people said yes. So this gave us an idea for one key insight that our application had to include. And this was a social media-like feature that would allow you to connect with friends or other people with similar volunteering interests to you. Now let's take a look at the second graph. This one reads, would you be willing to volunteer more if you could earn material rewards for doing so? Again, the results are overwhelmingly positive. As you can see, 66% of people said yes, and 23% of people said maybe. So this gave us an idea for a second key insight that we had to include, and that was a sort of marketplace where people would be able to trade points that they get from volunteering for material rewards, be it Beats by Dr. Dre or something more intangible like concert tickets or some food. The final graph we have here reads, which of the following, if any, have held you back from volunteering in the past? And like we mentioned previously, one of the big issues was people had no one to volunteer with. But another key issue outlined by this graph is that people were also having a hard time finding the volunteering opportunities in the first place. And once they found them, they were also having a hard time with remembering them or keeping them scheduled actively. So this gave us a third key insight that we had to include in our application, and it's more of a core functionality. We wanted to be able to create a platform where all volunteering opportunities are centralized in one platform and can be easily scheduled for the user. So now let's take a look at some of the technical specifications of our application. On the client side, we essentially want to build three different platforms, two being mobile applications in Android and iOS, and the third being a web page that's going to serve as a landing page built in Angular. This landing page is going to serve to provide users with information about Planet Atlanta and also serve as a link in order to be able to download the Android app and the iOS app as well. On the server side, we plan to implement our backend in Firebase. This is also going to serve as our hosting for our user data. And once we have all this user data, we're going to be able to use platforms like scikit-learn or TensorFlow in order to create machine learning models to better suit the needs of our users. So now David is going to walk us through a live demo of the application.
So here we have a demo of the application. Once you open the application, you will be greeted by a splash screen. And the first time you open the application, you will see this welcoming screen where we welcome you to the application and get you started with the requirements in order to become a registered user in our platform. Once you click Start, you're greeted by this registration screen where we ask for your basic information such as name, email, age, your address in order for us to send you the rewards that you redeem from the in-app marketplace, as well as your phone number in case any event organizer needs to contact you. Once we fill this out, for sake of time, we're just gonna not fill it out. Once we click next, here we ask you a series of questions in order to better understand your volunteering preferences. In this first question, we ask you what type of volunteer you'd be interested in, so you can select from education, wildlife protection, hunger, etc. Once you select the volunteering events that you would be interested in, you click next. This next slide asks you to tell us more about how often you would like to volunteer. In this case, we ask if you'd like to volunteer sporadically or recurrently. Sporadic events are one-off events that only happen once, and recurring events are events that repeat on a weekly or monthly basis. We choose the ones that we like, and then on the question underneath, we ask you how close you would like to be the volunteering events that we suggest to you. So in this case, you can choose from within your city, within your state, or in your country. Here you can choose. Lastly, we ask you if you would give us permission to sync the contacts on your phone to the application. This is in the case that we decide to further develop the idea of creating a social media-like platform. We can have access to these contacts and let you know if there's already someone from your contacts that's going to an event or something along those lines. Once we're done, you'll be registered into the application and you'll be taken to the home screen of the application. In the application home screen, we see here a list of mock events that you could attend. If we're interested in an event, say the first one, we can click the plus button to expand it, and this will give the user more information in terms of the location of the event, the time in which the event will take place, as well as a short description of the event. If you decide you would like to go to this event, you simply click the sign up button, and this will sign you up in the back end and will notify the event organizer that you will be attending. If for some reason you no longer want to attend this event, you simply click the can't make it button, and this will unsign you up in the back end and will let the event organizer know that you will no longer be going. One interesting thing to point out from our application is that if we quit the application and we reopen it, the second time that you open the application, you will no longer be taken to the welcome registration screen since you're already a registered user. Next up, we're going to see an example of a recurring event, which is an event that happens in a weekly or a monthly basis depending on your choice. When we expand this recurring event, we can see that we're also provided with location information, time information, as well as a description about the event, but we also prompt the user to tell us how often they would like to participate in this event, whether it be in a weekly or a monthly basis. If you choose a weekly basis, we'll ask you to tell us what day of the week you would like to participate in the event, and if you choose a monthly basis, we'll ask you what day of the month you would like to participate. In this example, let's say we want to participate on a weekly basis, and we would like to go on Thursdays or Fridays. Let's say Friday. If you would like to go on a Friday, we simply click sign up, and this will notify the event organizer as well as sign you up on the back end. In the case we can't make this event anymore, we simply click can't make it, and we will unsign you up from the application.
Kika's going to talk about the introspective analysis and the things we learned throughout the course of the semester.
So throughout the course of this class, we have had several assignments that help us to understand the implementation technicalities for our final product, as well as team management techniques. First, we have our team charter. Even though we were all friends from before, this helps us to set our own goals and expectations and understand the areas of expertise of each other to hold accountable each of us in several parts of the development part. Then the client charter, that was the first time that we had any sort of communication with our client. It helped us to understand the goals and limitation of the project, as well as setting a timeline for our client for the deliverables. Then the vision statement was the first time that we gathered all the thoughts from our client and we put the vision for our final product. It helped us to have a clear understanding on the final product and understand the possible constraint of the project, as well as intended user that our client wants. Then the user research, as Nicolas was talking before, it helps us to understand the needs of the users regarding the app, kind of outline the features of the projected users, and help us kind of in a marketing way, because people who did this survey, was aware that a new platform, a new service was going on, so they can find more opportunity, a volunteering opportunity through all of them. Then the user stories help us to discretize the features that we want to add in our application. It outlines the procedure to understand the user behavior and forecast possible issues or bugs with those features that we wanted to add. Then the initial prototype. After gathering all the information from the user research and the user stories, we created this paper prototype that gave us like the initial view of our final product, which helped us to show to the client and see if he was okay with it, and if he liked it or he wanted to change anything on it, and help us to produce rudimentary tests so users can experiment with it. Then the Eristic Evaluation, that after gathering all the data from the rudimentary tests that we made on the initial prototype, it helped us to evaluate each task outlining the pair prototype, then help by letting third-party users give their feelings and thoughts over the application, and it helps us to find possible bugs in the implementation of the application. Lastly, the user's research report. It helps us to understand those issues from the Eristic Evaluation and produce possible solutions for them, and kind of summarize the next steps in the development phase of this project. As you can see, there are several assignments that help us to kind of give you the initial idea on how to implement our application. So this is something that we have learned in this class. In the past, for our group, a lot of people in this class, was if you have an idea, you have a project, you just sit down on your computer and you just start coding. However, if you want to build a reliable, robust, and scalable application, you need to go through all these stages of development so you can create an application that is not only talking technical is perfect, but also it has all the things that the user are looking for. And all these assignments help us as well to kind of help us in the team management setting, so like we can not only be aware of how what is the responsibility of each other, but also like kind of give us an insight of what the client wants from us. So we were Team 9130. I hope you like our presentation. Thank you so much.